And what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Designated Players, an MLS podcast. Today's MLS news episode is jam-packed with a ton of really good topics for you all today. First, we've got LA Galaxy's GM Will Kuntz hopping on with Landon Donovan and Tim Howard to basically call out MLS roster rules for being too strict, punishing success, and making them bad. Then Bruce Arena saves Lionel Messi from seeing red at the end of their match at the weekend. And we're going to talk about both of those things and what they mean, right? What more than just what happened. We're gonna dive into it a little bit. David Beckham also was complaining about Minnesota's social media manager, calling them out for not having any respect. That was really fun. We'll talk about that as well. And finally, we're going to throw a fourth segment in there for you guys. Something special. We usually do three. We're making it four today because Greg Vanney, just a few hours ago, has gotten an extension at LA Galaxy despite approaching half of the season without a win. I'm Andrew. That's Connor. We're going to cover all of that and more on this week's MLS News. Connor, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great, buddy. How are you doing, buddy?
Buddy, I'm great, bud.
No, no, no. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Hey, I lived near Buffalo for a little bit. I could pull that off.
You don't anymore. You lost the accent.
Oh man, how's life in the good old Brooklynese?
It just rains all the time here now, so it's depressing.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
It hit 98 today in South Carolina in my car, so
Oh,
we're
that's
fi
awful.
we're officially at the point where I get in the car and my air conditioning doesn't do anything. It just
Nice.
runs.
Nice.
Oh,
We'll
all
get
right.
there
Well,
soon. Give us a couple more months.
I'll tell you that, the one thing I don't need is a scarf down here because it's just simply too warm. But you know what I have? A heck of a lot of scarves. What are you rocking today for scarf of the
Gee,
week?
what gave it away that you got so many scarves?
I don't know, man. Hey, don't break the fourth wall for our audio only listeners. We love all you guys, all 100 of you guys every
Don't
episode,
make them go to the YouTube. That's messed up.
all 100 of you guys every episode, triple digits every episode. Absolutely massive.
All right, well, I brought a scarf out for the Pink Phony Club
Nice.
in Miami.
Let me see.
Cover
Where
them
where do
plenty today.
where do I have the pink phony club? I think they're up there somewhere.
I don't know. They're not pink enough. Otherwise, they'd stand out.
Oh, it's right here.
See, it's not pink. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
well, because it's white and black that one. It doesn't have a lot of pink. Remember their first year they didn't have any pink in their in their kit?
Adam was probably punching all the walls.
Man, good old Adam. Well, every topic we have is LA Galaxy or LA Galaxy adjacent. So we've got the LA Galaxy scarf off the wall, in the hand, ready
That's
to
a bit
go.
of a stretch. That's a bit what because Bruce Arena once upon a time was at LA Galaxy.
A, a bit of a stretch. LA Galaxy GM, LA Galaxy head coach, LA Galaxy's greatest ever designated player, and LA Galaxy's greatest ever coach. What do you mean a stretch? Stop it.
Two of the stories literally have nothing to do with the LA Galaxy. So that's it. That's what we in the business call
That
a
that's
stretch.
that's why I said LA Galaxy or LA Galaxy adjacent.
Well, they're not adjacent.
All right, listen, I know that word's too big for you and you don't know what it means. So we're gonna just move on and go to
No,
something that you can talk
that's
about.
our buddy. That's our buddy. He's adjacent. Don't just fill it with silence. You got to say something.
What do you want me to respond to that? Anything I say will get us canceled, so
You
I'm
could
not
have
gonna do
said,
that.
"Oh my God, that's such a funny joke. Wow, my co-host is so witty."
I'm not getting canceled. You know what I am going to tell you though is that Brandon Nimgoat is the best, and he just scored an RBI for the New York Mets. So
Go
that's your
team.
Mets update for the week. Before
We
we
haven't
get
done
into
a Mets
this,
update in a while.
we haven't, but here we are. But before we get into this, I want to do the whole like follow us and subscribe us thing early, right? Because we are really making some good progress on lots of our social media. So we talked about how we're hitting triple digits on every audio. Love that from you guys. Keep doing that. Keep listening to the audio. Over on YouTube, we are pushing 800 subscribers. We're trying to get to 1,000 by the end of the year. So go ahead and head over there if you're new. Go and give that a follow or a subscribe, if you will. We are currently on 779. So would love to see that get to 800 soon. And then also on Twitter and Blue Sky and Instagram and TikTok. We're doing well there. Twitter, we've broken the 800 mark. So not necessarily saying I want more there because I'm trying to get away, but here we are. We're at 808 right now. Little drum action, right? But
Yeah,
yeah, go
808s and heartbreaks.
nice. There you go. Well, go ahead and do that. Give us all a follow, and we'll see you over there and interact because we are going to be talking about a ton of stuff today. So let's just dive right into it. LA Galaxy GM Will Kuntz, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. He
I
hopped
sure
onto
hope so.
he hopped onto Unfiltered Soccer with Landon Donovan and Tim Howard, a great podcast, by the way, something I very highly recommend you listen to chat all about how this season is going and kind of why they are the way they are. This was before the 7-0 Red Bull beatdown, so he was a little bit more upbeat, I guess you could say. But on the call, he basically called out MLS roster rules for punishing teams for being successful, right? So I listened to this episode, and it was actually a really quick interview. He was only on there for like 15 minutes. But he did highlight some big points, and I kind of wanted to highlight these quotes and examples before we move on. He used verbatim, the rules make it impossible to have a deep roster. Then he hopped on and gave examples like Chicharito and Douglas Costa, who weren't playing and were physically not able to be replaced, including Ricky Puig in that same boat, right? Injured and just sitting there. Then you have the Dejan Joveljic thing, moving him on because they couldn't give him a raise without breaking the salary cap because of the U22 mechanism. And, he made one more comment that I thought really stuck with me. And he said, in any other league in the world, a club like the LA Galaxy would just be able to resign Joveljic, but we can't. And I wanted to get your thoughts on this. But first, in this view, like your thoughts on kind of where we're going in this. Is this a lot of respect for coming out and being straight transparent? Or is he just trying to save face? This is a question from Lacuna Galaxiana, our friends at the LA Galaxy podcast. They posed this question. I wanted to pose it to you. Do you think this is really respectable, or is this just somebody trying to do damage control?
It feels a little bit like maybe damage control, I gotta say. I mean, I think most people at this point kind of realize that the roster rules are a little outdated. Obviously they had a purpose, right? And it served a purpose well. I think it still serves a purpose to make sure that we're not seeing the same teams win every single year, like majority of the other leagues that he's referring to have. Like, when was the last time we've seen? Has it really like I genuinely like off the top of my head cannot remember the last time a team won MLS Cup back to back because you get new winners all the time. And it's not like you see two teams switching back and forth every single year. It's like new people winning it all the time, which is great because then you have a chance in your lifetime to see your team actually win something. Whereas Newcastle, I think, got their first trophy this year in like how long is it? Maybe
54
it's like
years, I
60
think it
years,
was.
40
So it was
years.
54.
Yeah, it like that's outrageous. I mean, there's teams that have way longer periods without trophies than they do, even. It's like imagine going your whole lifetime and like one of the best achievements you could have seen for your team was they avoided relegation in the league. It's like you don't want to be able to like I get that there's like excitement about these things, but like you don't want to see your team win a champion, like have a shot to win a championship and be the best team.
Hey
Um,
man, listen, you don't know what it's like to finish 17th, okay? That's a pretty big deal.
I wouldn't know. Finished 17th with 6 weeks left in the season. Really, really tense battle at the end there. Really had them sweating. So yeah, I mean, it feels a little bit like it's just saving face because I think most people at this point kind of have that feeling of like, yeah, I think we're ready for like the roster rules to be changed. And it's like, if you really felt this way, why didn't you say it before all this stuff happened? It's not like all of a sudden the roster rules changed and became stricter. Like these have been the roster rules for years now. It's been outdated for years now. Why are you only saying it now when you are running into issues with it? It's like that's what like he's correct in what he's saying, but I think the timing of when he's saying it is saving face.
And look at that. It's only been 4 minutes, and Connor's gone on to my second point in the topic.
We'll stop sharing the sheet with me ahead of time. That's the
You're right. I
problem.
should that's absolutely right. I should make you pick a random scarf, and I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna interview basically. That's the only way I can avoid this. So to go back on topic, right? Is it respectable or is it damage control? I think it is damage control, but I think it's better than hiding in your office and putting up this image like, oh, it's whatever, I don't care. You absolutely have owners. I mean, you've seen it in the past who have just sat there and closed the door and been like, yeah, we'll fix it later. Don't worry about it. Don't look at me. Don't ask questions. He's getting out in front of it. He's putting himself out in front of the public, and I appreciate that. I think that's a really really respectable thing to do, even if it is damage control, right? Because I don't think that the aspect of it being damage control is so negative that the respect is lost, I think, for lack of a better term, right? So my next question was kind of like, what does this mean for MLS as a whole? Like, do you respect the idea that, you know, he's coming out and saying this now, and why, when are the changes coming, and blah 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 blah. And Connor did all of that. So, maybe we'll circle back to him at the end if he
Yeah,
has
we have a
anything
lot
more
of
to
topics.
share.
I'm trying to move us along. I'm
What,
trying to make
we
sure we
people
cover
don't want to
every
listen to
team.
3 hours of us? You're crazy.
And yeah, no, I honestly I don't. There's a million things we can make a whole podcast about things I'd rather do than talk for 3 hours.
So yeah, this, like I said, there wasn't much that he said in the episode, or in the episode with Landon and Tim, that was incorrect. Like, everything he said was pretty spot on, right? You don't have mechanisms currently to replace players that are injured quickly, right? Especially if they get injured at the end of a window. The new mechanisms for signing talent like Dejan Jovic's U22 initiative, they're really good until they aren't, right? They're great until they hurt you. And we've been down this road before with the salary cap and the roster rules, and we're not going to rehash it. You can go listen to any one of the episodes that we've listened to in the past. But I think it's really interesting and really telling that you have this really high ranking GM, one that was labeled, by the way, the signing of the season during our not so deep dive with our friend Lacuna Galaxiana. That when I asked them who's the biggest signing, they go, could we just say it was Will Kuntz? Because he was so, so good. And he's coming out and he's basically saying, yep, we're in a really tough place because MLS won't let us be good. Could it be deflecting? Right? You absolutely have a roster that should be competing better than they are. I would say. I don't think that this roster is a winless in 13 games roster. I think it could be deflecting, sure. But what I take from this is the fact that you're starting to have these owners, ones with historically strong clubs, step up and say, all right, enough's enough. The salary nonsense and the roster rule nonsense, all of it's getting a little bit too much. It's time to move past this because we are ready to compete on the global stage, right? Not just with each other, but with everybody around us. And I think that should spark some optimism in fans, right? You talk about, why is he only saying it now when he's getting hurt by it? Because that's how you start. They weren't hurting people before because it didn't have that sort of impact. Now that it's starting to have the impact, people are starting to say, "Oh, wait, this isn't actually as good as we thought it was. Maybe let's step it up another level." You don't start speaking out when things are still working okay. So now that they're not, that's when you start saying, "Okay, it's time to change," right? So eventually, I think the old heads in the room are going to lose out on the numbers game, and the new faces are going to start pushing through with changes that may make this league better. And I think it's absolutely closer to that than it is 3, 4, 5 years ago. Because this isn't the first time you're hearing of owners being unsettled, right? Jorge Mas is at Inter Miami is always saying that they could take step forward and forward and forward. Absolutely. So now you've got LA Galaxy starting to pop up, and slowly I think you're going to see more owners who are going to grow tired of sitting behind the scenes and are going to step up and start saying publicly that maybe it's time for change. And I just hope it doesn't come too late.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But I mean, kind of going back to it being like a saving face thing, there's plenty of examples of teams in this league that have been able to win and continue to be successful. I really think Galaxy are just kind of hitting like an unlucky period right now where guys are just getting really banged up. And I mean, you're literally missing, I would say, your most important player for the entire year. Right now, Peck and Paintsel both have the injury symbol next to them on transfer market. So kind of a symbol for you right there. I mean, those three guys, if they're out, that's like your whole attack gone. So that's going to be very tough. And that's where the discussion comes in on being able to properly build depth into the team. And it's a very fair point to bring up. But there are teams that build themselves for long-term success and probably look into the future. Like, I can't imagine it was a complete blindside that they weren't going to be able to bring back Jovic. Like, I feel like they would have known that going into the year. Like, I don't think it was all of a sudden like, wow, what, like, I can't believe this happened. All of a sudden, like, we can't afford Jovic anymore. I mean, maybe that was the case. It just doesn't feel like it. But like, there's like Columbus, Cincinnati, even their down the street rivals, LAFC, have shown consistent years of success. Whereas this team is saw success last year and is really on the complete opposite end of that this year through injuries and I mean, I'd argue a little bit of poor roster building, to be honest. I mean, there was only so long you were going to be able to get away with 35-year-old center backs. So I think what he says is true, but I think it is kind of saving face.
No, and absolutely, I don't disagree necessarily. I just don't think that it's a bad thing that he's saving face because he's coming out and saying stuff, right? Instead of hiding. But we've seen teams that get decimated with injuries, especially in their designated players. It's a designated player league, right? Sporting KC just a few years ago was a huge example of this, right? Polito, Gadikinda, Johnny Russell were the three, I think, and all of them injured at the same time, and they finished like wooden spoon level, right? But even they picked up a win here or there. Like this is unprecedented for what they've done. And I think that eventually the blame has to come back to somebody, not just the league, right? I mean, you're looking at players in this team, Christian Ramirez, who again a little bit older but has oodles of experience in goal scoring talent, right? Behind him, this guy Marco Royce. Ever heard of him? Exactly, right? This dude scores goals for fun, right? Your midfield has Lucas Sanabria in it, somebody who has a very, very highly rated defensive midfield acumen in, the South American game, for lack of a better term. Diego Fagundes, who is a 75-75 club member, I mean, eventually this guy's going to break out one day. He's got oodles of potential, but
Yeah,
has
still a
finally made it
youngster.
to 75-75, which is ridiculous. And then again, the back line realistically has not changed very much in the time that they won MLS Cup. Now they lost Jalen Neal, who was a rotation player. They added Zonka, who, good or bad, it's obviously not good, but it's not like it's had a ton of change. You're missing one player, or really you're missing three players. They just happen to be the three most influential players, but you have to have somebody be able to make an impact there, right? And that to me would be the head coach, right? And because you even with Puig and Paintsel out, you had Gabriel Peck getting fed from Marco Royce, right? That right there should at least score you a couple goals. The problem is the coach isn't getting the best out of the players. I don't know if he's trying new things. I mean, like I said, he tried a new formation against Red Bull, got absolutely roasted. So far, two coaches have been fired already. And in LA, they've gone 13 games without a win. And instead of being the third team to fire a coach, they've given him an extension. I want your thoughts on this because this is crazy to me.
I feel like it would have made sense to just leave it. Like, it's clear that the team's going through injury issues, and you're coming off him winning you MLS Cup. So, like, he's earned the right to have some more time. But to give an extension is crazy. Like, if they gave an extension right after he won MLS Cup, absolutely makes sense. Everybody would be behind it, no questions. But it's like you're gonna hand out the extension now when the team's sitting on like what is it, 3 points?
Yeah,
Yeah.
three
When they're
points.
sitting on 3 points after 13 games, that's when you're gonna hand out the extension. I think at that point you gotta wait until this team starts to turn it around a bit more to give him that extension. If you still wanted to do it. Like if you were dead sure you were gonna give him one, at least wait till they're in better form. But right now is like not the right time to do that.
That that's exactly. I'm sitting here when I saw it, I go, even if you did give him this extension, you couldn't have just waited to say it. Like you didn't need to come out and be like, "Hey guys, sorry we haven't won a game in like 4 months, but guess what? We extended Greg Vanney." Like the optics suck on this, doesn't it? Like you
It
cannot
does.
go 13 games without a win in MLS, give an extension to the coach, and then be like, "Oh yeah, everything's gonna be fine." The anti-MLS crowd is going to have a field day with this. I've already seen, notorious. I won't even name drop. I'm not gonna get that low. But I've seen some people with MLS in their name drop the term MLS is an unserious league. Stop it, right? But and then you got the other people like, oh, this is what how a pro rel people just get rewarded for mediocrity, right? Like the silly stuff that we've been trying to get away from and have been doing a really good job now gets thrown into the fire because LA Galaxy couldn't wait 2 months to win, 3 or 4 games and then say, oh yeah, by the way, Greg Vanney's back, right? This move should have come directly after MLS Cup. No doubt about it, right? The fact that you couldn't agree to terms after winning the biggest trophy in the league, not true. And you couldn't agree to terms and you went into this season without him having signed a contract and locked up for the future, that's bad, right? That's not very good work from the front office. Then he goes on this run, and in any other league in the world, he is canned. But instead, you give him an extension. And I'm not sitting here saying he didn't deserve it, right? Because he won MLS Cup. He made them one of the best teams in the league. He's got them a club, I believe they're in a CONCACAF Champions Cup spot next year. He's turned the team from being bottom of the league to one of the best. And then he's got all these injuries he has to deal with, right? I'm not saying it wasn't deserved. What I'm saying is the optics just stink on this, and it's you can't do that to this club, right? This is a club that just 2 years ago protested and revolted and refused to show up to games because they wanted their front office changed, right? This fan base, it cares about its club. It loves its club. It bleeds its blue, the gold and blue. You cannot do this to them right now. I think most people who watch the league and know this team understand that this team is a good team that are just really, really down bad right now. The injuries suck, and they had to move on from a ton of players. Because you're also forgetting, right? Like part of that team that they also broke down, their entire midfield got gutted. Gaston Brugman, MLS Cup MVP, gone. The Marky Delgado trade to LAFC, crazy, right? What'd they get back? They got back Sean Davis. You know what they had to do to him? Cut him because they couldn't fit him under the side. This is football manager, right? You start up a club, and you're like, I'm just gonna sign all these players. Like, wait a second, I didn't know these roster rules. Cut, 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 cut. That's what it feels like, right? Sean Davis came in, was supposed to be the guy who just took Marky Delgado's spot. I was like, oh wait, never mind, I can't fit him. Gone. Jalen Neal, future of the center back, gone, right? Dejan Joveljic, couldn't hold him, gone. Like that club got gutted, and most people know that. But I also think that most everybody will sit here and say, this was not the right time to do what you've done. You know this team's going to turn around. Ricky Puig is going to come back. Paints is going to come back. Peck's going to come back. They're going to look different. They're going to hopefully they sign another number 9 in the summer window, and they're going to look different. But this is not the time to do that.
I mean, this will probably come off as a little bit of an unfair statement too, but like, I think this team in particular too, in terms of optics, has to be held to a bit of a higher standard than other teams.
Oh,
Because
100%. I love that.
if you're talking about like people who kind of vaguely know about MLS, this is one of the teams that they know. They know Inter Miami, they know LA Galaxy, and they might know a couple others. But those two, I would say, are a shoo-in. They will know those two. So it's like if they hear that like the Galaxy are struggling, they're on 3 points, they just won the championship and now they're sitting rock bottom of the league. And then they also hear, oh, he just got an extension. That's a bad look, not only on the Galaxy, but the league in general, because they just have more eyes on them. Whereas if this happened in like Montreal, no offense, Montreal,
Throw them under the bus.
I'm sorry, but it's like realistically, like if this happened in Montreal, I don't think there would be nearly as much of a fuss. Like I just like this, there's just not as many eyes on Montreal as there are the Galaxy.
That's the best point you've made in 6 years. Best point you made
Wow,
in six
six
years.
years?
That's crazy, but 100% correct, right? Clubs with prestige are held to higher standards, 100%. And you're right. If this happened, you know what would happen? If this happened in Montreal, you know what we'd say? Yeah, that's Montreal. Right.
Yeah,
That's a
exactly.
Montreal move, right? Oh yeah, Montreal finishing dead last, but that the new coach is going to cost him a little bit more, and that's just not the Joey Saputo style. That makes sense. This is LA, man. You don't do that. But here's what's really interesting to me is very quickly players came to the defense of this move, including Ricky Puig, who on Twitter said, "The journey isn't over yet. We want to win titles just like last season, and it wouldn't be the same without our coach by our side. We believe in the process, so let's keep pushing forward together." Thoughts on the statement from the star player?
I mean, that's if you are the LA Galaxy, you couldn't have scripted a better statement from your star player. I mean, that's backing the coach. I mean, I think it's a great quote from him, to be honest. I mean, this is your coach that just won you the cup. You're backing him. You're backing the team. You're being supportive of the guys that are still in that locker room right now. It's only going to make matters worse if you come out and you just dog on the team too. That's not helping the situation at all. So I think like this is a very professional, good statement for him that can only be helpful for the team and supportive for them. It's kind of, I'm sure it's like a very cookie cutter, like chat GPT written type of statement, but like I honestly, I think it's needed. And I think it's a good statement from him.
Yeah, well, and what I'll say is very similar to the GM coming out and saying things. It could have been very easy for Ricky Puig just to sit back and say, "I don't need to say anything." Right? I don't think he'd come out and trash it, but he could have just sat there and just said, "Okay, I'm gonna continue my rehab." But no, he is taking on this role of leader, club leader, so well. Right? I think it's a great look. And I think it's inspiring for Galaxy fans, right? Because at the end of the day, you may like the move, you may not like the move, but with Puig coming out and saying this is the guy you want uniting the group and getting behind the manager and pumping belief into the fans, right? This is the guy. He is your star player. When he's on the field, it's a different team and they know it. So he comes out and says, "Have faith. We're going to be back. Don't worry about it." How many times do you see star players come over and they're just like, "Yeah, it is what it is, whatever," and they do their 2 second interview and they're out, right? He has embraced the meaning of what LA Galaxy is for him as an individual and is running with it. And I love that, right? Because that's what you want out of your designated players. We talked about what the role of a designated player should look like a couple of episodes ago. This is what we're talking about. Not some 35-year-old European coming for a paycheck and just saying, yeah, whatever, it's soccer. But coming in and saying, we are here to fight for championship. We're here to fight for titles. Have faith in what we're going to do. We promise we're going to bring this to you guys. I just when I saw that, it was right as I was prepping this, he tweeted. I was like, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Love it."
You want to know what's the opposite of that? Toronto,
Yes, exactly.
the Italians.
Yeah, right. The Italians were
That
sitting
is
up
the
in the
opposite of what Ricky Puig is doing.
literally sitting up in the stands fighting with fans instead of like, "Hey guys, rally behind us." Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. But let us know your thoughts on that. Let us know your thoughts on the re-signing. And let's move to another LA adjacent moment. Because Inter Miami have looked just terrible these last few weeks with only one win in their last six. And you know who that one win was. Red Bull make the world take, right? Take from the rich, give to the poor. Am I right? But particularly they looked really poor against Minnesota United, who beat them down 4-1 up in Minnesota, I believe. And was it in Minnesota? Am I correct in saying that?
You are correct in saying that.
Yeah, I thought it was. But at the end of the game, the Minnesota United admin earned a massive W with his post or her post, I don't know who it is, where they posted a photo of the Miami team with the caption "Pink Phony Club," which elite, love it. No notes from me at least, because David Beckham, owner of Inter Miami, he had some notes. Particularly, he went out and he said, "Show a little respect and be elegant in triumph." The comment has since been deleted, but not before it made the rounds on social media. And I just want to know what would you tell David Beckham in this moment? Because let's remember David Beckham when he was a player, right? Elegance in triumph and a little respect. This man was, I mean, the poster boy for everything, everywhere during his playing days. I don't know if you watched that in documentary on Netflix with him, but he was just anything he touched was supposed to turn to goal, and if it didn't, he threw a fit about it.
No, I mean this is like baby behavior. Like honestly, like what are you, a 5-year-old kid throwing a tantrum because you lost the baton race? Like come on, like move on. Like there's not the show some respect for the club. Yeah, like give it a rest. You got the brakes beat off of you by Minnesota. Like just take the L and move on. Become for the night. You are David Leckham.
Stretch that one. Ah,
I had to think about it. That's how you know
yeah.
that was a stretch.
Here's what I would do. I would sit him down. I go, David, David, David. My butt, because we're on speaking terms, first name, of course.
Well,
He
if
and I.
you were, then you'd call him Dave.
No, no, no. He doesn't like Dave. Are you kidding? No, he hates
No,
Dave.
he's a Dave guy.
Dave is the guy from the TV show about what's his name? Lil Dicky. He does name Dave. You heard of that show? It's
I have
that's
heard of that show.
that's still on my list of things to watch. I heard it's really funny. But I sit down and go, David, are you kidding me? You've got the MLS super team on the field, one that makes it look like, and by all means, very well could have been the team that they bent all of the rules for you to make happen. Literally, the greatest player in the history of the game is on your team, and you got walked by Minnesota United, enemies of the pod. Minnesota United
You
walked you
got
off the
walked by Michael
pitch.
Boxall
Michael Boxall.
and Will Trapp.
Of course they're going to take this and run with it. Are you kidding me? The engagement alone is huge for the brand, and that's what the sport is all about. That's what sports in general are all about. The camaraderie and the conversation off of the pitch is just as important as the game on the pitch, right? And besides all of that, this is exactly what Messi was brought here to do. Start conversations, get eyes on the league, get people thinking and talking and arguing about the league. But not only when he does really well, but when he does poorly too. It's all the same. They're all meant to be used to bring eyes to the team, right? So yeah, Minnesota had every right to make fun of your pink phony club, which again, elite. I thought it was brilliant, right? But your response was childish and sad, right? Fans like making fun of the super teams. Think about it. Everybody hates the Kansas City Chiefs. Everybody hates the Los Angeles Lakers. Everybody hates the New York Yankees. Everybody hates the New York Jets.
Well, I don't
Probably.
know about the last one.
Probably.
Maybe just Jets fans.
There. But it's not because they're heated rivals, right? It's not New York City Red Bull or Orlando Atlanta or whatever. It's because they spend a lot of money to be as good as they are, or they have been good for a long time. Guess what? That's what you are. That is what you are in this moment. You are a team that spends a lot of money to be good, and you have to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna run with this whole mantra of like it's us against the world, you can't be throwing a fit when the world finally punches back and doesn't just roll over for you. Like,
Yes.
I'm not saying that they necessarily had any rules bent for them, but like you clearly are getting like a huge benefit from him being on your team. Not only in just like jersey sales, ticket sales, but like player recruitment too. I'm sure there are guys that went to this team solely because they get the opportunity to play with Messi. Whereas if he didn't come to this team, he is not coming to play for Inter Miami. So you are getting all of these benefits to have this super team and have all these eyes on you. And when you finally get beat and you get beat up bad, you got to just take that and move on. Like the team is still in like fifth place in the standings. You're gonna be fine. You'll make the playoffs. Just keep your guys healthy in the playoffs this year. Don't go against Brad Guzan on horse tranquilizer, and you will be fine. Like just move on. Let it go.
I thought it was a joke at first. I'm genuinely because I went to the post and it was deleted, so I thought like, oh, somebody memed it. Nope, they didn't meme it. He went out there and said that, which is just such a ridiculous look, right? Like you're an owner of a team and you're out there like, oh, don't make fun of my team. It's social media. They're here for clicks and clicks only, my guy. Like nobody gives a damn about how you feel. They need to draw engagement. You ever see? This is the one time where the TikTok meme of when the social media manager leaves work all day after posting one TikTok that gets 17 views. Yeah, this is the one time that doesn't apply, right? They get to
Yeah.
draw all of this attention, and then of
You
course
drop this one
because
tweet, you have off the rest of the week.
literally, right? Like what are your metrics? You need to get a million interactions by the end of the week. Well,
Bet.
Messi is a fraud. All right, have a good one. Right? Like that's the point. Because then you get all of the Messi bots and the Ronaldo bots, and they get all these people around, and it always just draws up this, and that's what it's about. Like we didn't bring him here so that he could make just Miami look good. That's so silly. Oh man, that was such a. I can't believe that was real.
I love it. That's great.
Uh,
That's a great bit for this episode.
oh man. Well, we got one more LA adjacent story, but it also involves Miami because at the end of Miami's 3-3 draw against San Jose, Lionel Messi was having a nice spirited conversation with the referees. And I had to guess, I'm not a lip reader, I can't read lips, but I guess they were talking about Mother's Day, maybe what color flowers they were going to go for. Like, I wasn't so sure, but you know, the word red came out. That's the only thing I could pick up. And for whatever reason, the referee was also like holding the back of his pocket and was talking about red. And I was like, okay, well, that's a weird color for Mother's Day flowers. Usually go yellow or purple or whatever. But
Maybe it's a
um,
Mother's Day card
oh, it could
with
be,
red
could
hearts
be.
on it.
Yeah, it could be. Well, Bruce Arena saw this and was like, oh, maybe they're not talking about Mother's Day cards, and we should probably go figure this out. Because as this was happening, he runs on over to where Messi is talking to the referees, and as the referee is reaching for his back pocket, seemingly ready to send Messi off, he steps forward and prevents this from happening. Basically, puts his arm out and says, "Hey, don't worry about it. I'll walk him off the field." At the press conference, he comes out and basically was like, "Yeah, I just want to make sure they didn't send Messi off for something like that. It wasn't worth it. Blah 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 blah." And that was the end of it. But my question to you was he right in doing this?
He was absolutely right. Bruce gets it. You know, you know that saying that's like those who get it get it. Bruce is one of those people. He gets it. All right, like you get a limited time with Messi in this league. We don't want him sitting on the bench with red cards unless he's playing your team, in which case you definitely do, right? But for the sake of the league and the league's success long term, you want him playing. You want eyes on him. You want people coming to the stadium to see him play. You don't want people paying $800 tickets for him to get a red card and have to sit in the stands. So Bruce is for the people. He understands it. He gets it. He's for the league. And I'm really glad that he did that.
This is a port where you come in and you're like psych, right?
No, why would you want? I mean, like in that case, if you were like, why would you want him to just like let Messi get sent off? Like, if you have the opportunity to step in and be like, hey, like let's just separate you guys, like cool down, let cooler heads prevail. Like, let's not do anything like rash. Like everybody's just like, everybody's amped up right now. Like, let's just let cooler heads prevail. Like, why would you not step in that case? Like, I think that's the mature, correct thing to do, even if it's not your player. Plus, it's not like Bruce is playing. Like honestly, the five head play here by Bruce is that they're not playing Miami for the next few games. So why would you want Messi sitting out? Have Messi play against rivals and like be on the field. So like that's the five head play from Bruce here. He's like, hey, listen, don't get yourself sent off. I want you beating up on your next opponents so that we can do better.
You're such a tennis kid. Oh, everybody be friends and everybody be nice and look out for each other. This shows you've never played a team sport in your life. I've got a problem with this. And I
Of
don't know
course you
where
do.
it ranks in terms of my level of problems. Like I don't know if it's like end of the world problem, but it's bigger than like my leg hurts problem. You know what I mean? There's a difference here between youth sports and pro sports, right? As a youth sports coach myself, I never want to see a game ruined by the ref doing something silly, right? If a 13-year-old kid turns around and after getting fouled and turns around and like, you know, F you to somebody in the general vicinity and the referee goes and tries to send him off, I have a problem with that, right? Because quite clearly, that's I actually and I won't share the example, but one of these things happened in my season last season, and instead of him sending off, the referee came over to me and basically gave me a, hey, listen, your player is one word away from being sent off. Like I have no other choice to do it. You might want to just take him out of the game. So instead of sending him off and ruining, taking away 3 games for the rest of his season, because we only had 3 games left, he was like, "Hey, why don't you do this?" That is one of those moments where you're like, "Hey, that's the right thing to do." This is the pro game. As a coach, you look after your players and your players only, unless it's something crazy like, "Oh, this guy just got knocked out and he's not breathing. We need to do something about it." Right? But if a player on the other team goes over and wants to walk over to the ref and run his mouth, go for it. You want to get yourself sent off? That's not on Bruce Arena or anybody on San Jose. That's on Javier Mascherano and his crew for not being able to control their players, right? That's not his problem. I don't think it's right for an opposing coach to go protect other players in the pro game, period. But then you add Messi to it, and it's a whole new layer of weird, right? And this anti-MLS crowd has another field day. Oh, look, everybody's protecting their Messi because they know he's the only thing that's drawing eyes, and nobody watches without Messi. Blah 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 blah. Again, going back to the Greg Vanney thing, the optics suck. You just tied a game against a competitor. You've already got people talking about, oh, I'll never watch MLS because it's not real football. It's not clubs versus clubs. It's one league, being a traveling circus or whatever. And now you've got coaches standing up for other players, make sure they don't get sent off. I don't like the optics of it. I think it's a problem because it's not. I don't know if you see it anywhere else. And
I mean,
while I'm
we
not,
don't have a
while I'm
player
not
like him anywhere else.
correct, correct, and while I'm not out here saying we need to be like all these other leagues, that doesn't sit right with me. I don't know if I sit there and say, yeah, this is. I want all the because again, do you think he does this if it's Benja Kromaski going up there? No,
Yeah,
I don't think he
probably,
does.
honestly.
I don't think
I
he
think he
does.
does.
No, because I think he was trying to track down Messi to say hello, hey, good game, and then was like, oh wait, let me step in. And again, I'm not saying Bruce Arena was doing this for the cameras, right? Like quite clearly not his thing. But I don't know if he's even in that scenario if it's anybody else. And I don't like the optics of it. I feel like it's not indicative of what we're trying to do. And yeah, I just don't like it. I've got a problem with it. I don't think it's the right decision here. Um, get your players off the field, shake hands with whoever you need to shake hands with, and move on. Right? Let the other coaches deal with their players. Because guess what? What happens if he puts his hand on Messi and Messi thinks that he's trying to like pull him back? Right? Now you got this whole brouhaha in the middle, people trying to fight each other because Bruce Arena tried to attack Lionel Messi. First off, headlines I need to see in my life. Second off, um, like it just feels not right.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the disagree on this one. I mean, if listen, I don't think Bruce should be getting like what's the right way to say it? Like, I don't think the blame or like any of the optics should be pointed at Bruce. When it's like, I kind of agree with your other point where it's like this should have been on Mascherano to make sure that he's getting his players off the field, like especially if he sees Messi being heated like this. And it's also on Messi too to just like have a cooler head and just like walk away from the situation. Like Bruce was just being the mature person in that situation and saying like, listen, you're hot-headed, you're hot-headed. Like we're just coming off of a game. I'm sure people are amped up. The adrenaline's pumping through everybody's veins right now. Like just separate right now. Take a second, catch a breath. Like like I just don't think he wants to see people being sent off for something so stupid like having an argument at the end of the game. And I know it's not his responsibility, and that's where I agree with you on the master on the part. Like he should be that person there, sending Messi to the locker room. Like get off the field. Like we have games to play. Do not get yourself sent off. We need you on the field, especially in the form that we've been playing in lately. But I think Bruce just did the mature thing in the situation that he was put into. So I don't blame him. I mean, I don't even think he was thinking about this when he did made the decision, but like it was like a very for the fans that are gonna be paying astronomical money to go watch him play in the upcoming games. It's a great thing for them. Because if he's sent off with a straight red card and misses 3 games, I don't know if those people can get their money back that they paid to go watch Messi play. Like now it's like and you're gonna what? You're gonna pay like $200 for a ticket to go watch him play, and then you missed out on it because he had an argument after the game with a ref. That
Well,
sucks. That's
well,
stupid.
this then goes back to the broader question: should you buy tickets to see one player play? And this is not just in MLS, but in all sports, right? I'm going to buy tickets to watch LeBron James play. Well, LeBron James is on minutes restrictions, so you're not going to see him play. Is that on the Lakers or whatever? Is he on the Lakers? Yeah, he's on the Lakers for not playing him, or is that on you for spending X amount of money to see a single player not knowing that he's guaranteed to play?
I mean,
I
listen,
understand your point.
you only get like he is so like worshipped and beloved, and it's like it's a different situation from like LeBron because LeBron plays in the US. So like if you are in the US, even if LeBron goes to a different team, you're still going to have an opportunity to see him. Like Messi played his entire career in other leagues outside of the US, in other countries, where it's just like you are not going to be able to see him no matter what team he bounces around to out there unless he comes to the US. So now you get like a couple of years window in the US where you can possibly see him play in competitive games, not just like BS friendlies, like where Barcelona's coming over to play like Sporting KC in a friendly mid-season or something. Like you're seeing
Sporting
him play in
KC
competitive games.
stray.
No, it's nothing against KC. It's just like it's a friendly game. Like it's not competitive. Like you get one like you only get so many opportunities to see him in person playing. So like I don't blame the people for spending the money on it. And if Messi's out because of injuries or like minutes restrictions, like I get that too. But like if you bought tickets and he's not there because he was busy yelling at a referee at the end of the game, I blame Messi on that one. I don't blame Inter Miami. I don't blame the fans. Like that's on him.
I'm not trying to blame Bruce here. I'm just talking in general. Like Bruce is the one who did it, but if any other coach did it, I would say the same thing. I don't know if it's your responsibility to do that. In an episode where the theme is optics, right? And what things look like throughout, the lens of a fan, or rather I should say throughout the lens of people who are preying on our downfall. Lame. It's a bad look because again it gives and I'm trying to see your point of view and I do understand where you're coming from, right? I get it. Like that might have been just him reacting, right? Like it's I'm not trying to save Messi. I'm just trying to step in and make sure the referee doesn't do something silly. Sure. Right. I can understand that. And again, I don't believe like this isn't me being like, oh, Bruce Arena, you idiot. You silly guy. Like how could you do such a thing? Like not what I'm trying to get at here, but I'm just talking like optics. It doesn't feel right. and I don't love it. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't want to see it happen again. Like I'm not sitting here like, oh yeah, like Bruce should be ashamed of doing it. I just don't want to see it become everybody protects Messi from the referee and make sure he doesn't get sent off and stuff like that. If he's gonna have a hothead and get himself into trouble, it's Mascherano and friends or nobody. Like I don't think it should be everybody being like, oh, don't touch Messi, you know? Like that isn't I don't think that's a great look for the league or for other clubs or for other coaches.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I mean, I think Bruce just did what he did in the situation that he was happened to be in. But I 100% agree with you. It should not be on anybody else having to step in and be like, listen, dude, chill out, like cool yourself down. Like that needs to be on Messi, that needs to be on Mascherano, that needs to be on his teammates. That is an Inter Miami problem that they need to solve. It is not a problem that anybody else needs to solve, nor do they have to step in, nor would I ever blame anybody for not stepping in. If somebody was standing right next to him and did nothing, I would not blame them at all, in the slightest.
Nope, 100%. I'm glad we were able to kind of find the middle ground there because I think we both were in the same mindset, but we just kind of were approaching it from two different angles. So I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
Let us know your thoughts, friends, people who are listening. If you hate us, if you love us, friends, enemies, whatever. Let us know what you think. Make sure you're following us wherever you get your podcasts. You know, when our next episode goes live, we're taking the rest of the week off. No history, no game. We're gonna try and kind of recover here. It's been a grind. We've been going pretty much one to two, or really two to six episodes a week since February. So it's time for a little bit of a gear down here for just a little bit. We'll be back up next week, but make sure you follow us for when our next episode goes live. Enjoy. Actually, this is posting after Rivalry Week, so I hope you enjoyed Rivalry Week. And make sure you follow us on social media so you can interact with us during the games. Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube, TikTok. We mentioned them all at the beginning. Make sure you go in and follow them now. We'd love to see you there. But thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time on the next episode of the Designated Players and MLS podcast. See ya.